you may.
I'd like for you all to imagine a situation. This popular grocery store in town just had a big sale. So it's packed, everyone's trying to get a spot in the parking lot. And this girl and her friend are walking out of that grocery store into the parking lot. And this girl is texting as she's walking out. And as she's walking out with her friend into the parking lot, her friend warns her, "Hey, pay attention, look at where you're going." But the girl continues texting on her phone. Moments later, a car honks at her. She ignores it and keeps on texting on her phone. When all of a sudden, that same car that just honked at her hits her. Now I ask all of you this. Would you hold the grocery store liable for what happened there? That is no different than why we're here today. The plaintiff in this case, Bobby Daly, like that girl walking out of that grocery store, texting, was also not paying attention. And like the girl that walked out of that grocery store, the plaintiff also received 3 warnings. The employee of Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor told the plaintiff to leave. She stayed. The plaintiff's friends warned her they should get going. They were approaching. She stayed. And lastly, the person that attacked her later that night warned her moments before. And she stayed. The plaintiff received 3 warnings and ignored all of them. We are here today because of the choices the plaintiff made on June 6, 2015. All of this happened at Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor. And for a long time, Scooter's was the only ice cream parlor here in Steelton. It's the hometown ice cream parlor. Now, the owner of Scooter's, Mr. Tracy Simon, opened up Scooter's because there were no other ice cream parlors in Steelton. He saw an opportunity, he opened a store up. And in 2015, at the height of the Chasing Game's popularity, he had an idea and thought, what an idea to have people come in to my store and play this Chasing Game while the store is open. The plaintiff was one of those people who came into Scooter's and played this game. The plaintiff was at Scooter's playing this Chasing Game for nearly 3 hours, during which she was attacked. And I expect today you'll hear the plaintiff received several warnings. First, when the employee at the store's closing time of 10 p.m. told her to leave. Later, when she was standing outside on the sidewalk, and her friend warned her and said, "People were coming, maybe you should get going." And that last warning, when the assailant, moments before the attack, warned her. Now, I expect from everything you'll hear today, you will learn the plaintiff is responsible for her own actions. And we will prove that to you today with 2 major points. That first point, that Scooter's had adequate security. And that second point, the plaintiff was not paying attention. Now, to my first point, that Scooter's had adequate security. I expect today you'll have a chance to hear from the owner of Scooters himself, Mr. Tracy Simon. And Mr. Simon will talk to you about the measures he's taken in the running of his business. Now, Mr. Simon will go over with you today that he installed cameras outside of his property facing the parking lot, as well as 6 lights to illuminate his parking lot, shown here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll also have a chance today to hear from an expert witness. And that expert witness is Miss Quinn Noonan. Miss Noonan is a 10-year FBI veteran. And she now specializes in security. Her job entails going to different businesses and telling them whether the security they have in place is adequate. Ms. Noonan will talk to you about 2 things: cameras and lights. She'll go over the purpose of the cameras that were installed on Scooter's property. And she'll explain to you that cameras serve a purpose. And that purpose is a deterrent effect, meaning that criminals, when they see cameras, are deterred from committing that criminal activity. In other words, a criminal sees a camera, and in fear of being caught by being recorded, they will less likely or altogether not commit that crime. Ms. Noonan will also explain to you that the 2 cameras Scooters had installed outside of their property on the parking lot were adequate for a business like Scooters. Ms. Noonan will also go over the lighting that was in place at Scooters. And she'll explain that the lighting also serves a similar deterrent effect. Further, I expect Ms. Noonan will tell you that the 6 lights that Scooters had outside in its parking lot were adequate for a business like Scooters. You'll also have a chance to see the police report that was prepared on June 6, 2015. And that report will tell you that the lighting on the entire property was ambient. To my second point, that the plaintiff was not paying attention. You'll have a chance today to hear from Ms. Christy Vladanova, the employee that was working that night. Now, Ms. Vladanova will not be able to take the stand today before you because she has returned to her home country of Russia. However, prior to today's trial, she took a deposition. And you will have a chance today to hear the transcript of that deposition. And in that deposition, Ms. Vladanova explains that Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor closed at 10 p.m. And Ms. Vladanova will also explain she told the plaintiff to leave at 10 p.m. Ms. Vladanova will say that the plaintiff went to the parking lot and later to the sidewalk. But she told the plaintiff to leave altogether. In fact, Ms. Vladanova told the plaintiff to leave not just once, but 3 times that night. The plaintiff didn't leave. Now, I also expect the plaintiff will speak to you today. The plaintiff will take the stand today, and I expect that while sitting up here before you, the plaintiff will admit some things to you. So the plaintiff will admit to you that she was told to leave by the employee at closing time that night. I also expect the plaintiff will admit to you that she received a warning from her friends. I expect the plaintiff will tell you that her friends warned her that people were approaching and they didn't seem to appear to be playing the chasing game. I also expect the plaintiff will admit to you that she heard her assailant say something to her moments before her attack. I expect the plaintiff to say to you that statement was, "Told you we could find some of these video game nerds here. Easy pickings." The plaintiff will also admit to you that everyone that was there at Scooters that night, along with the friends that were there with her, all managed to get away. The plaintiff was at Scooters playing this chasing game for nearly 3 hours, during which she was attacked. And we're not disputing here today that what happened to the plaintiff is not terrible. What we're disputing here today is that Scooters Ice Cream Parlor is not liable for the plaintiff's actions. All the testimony and evidence you'll hear today at trial will show you that nobody was forcing the plaintiff to be on that sidewalk at 10:45 p.m. at night. In fact, all that testimony and evidence you'll hear during today's trial will likely show you that everything was pointing to the plaintiff that she really should not have been there at all. She chose to be there. At the end of today's trial, after you've reviewed all of the evidence and you've heard all the testimony today before you, I expect you'll find the plaintiff was responsible for her own actions. And due to all the testimony you'll hear today at trial and the evidence you'll have a chance to review, I expect at the end of today's trial you will find that Scooters Ice Cream Parlor is not liable for what happened that night.
Plaintiff may call its first witness.
Your Honor, before the plaintiff calls our first witness, the plaintiff moves a police report discussing the factual findings that the police made on June 6, 2015, previously pre-marked as Exhibit A, into evidence as Exhibit 1. This has been stipulated as authentic for the pretrial court.
Is there any objection to the police report coming in?
No objection, Your Honor.
Which case is in as Exhibit 1?
May I approach, Lieutenant?
Good afternoon, Ms. Daly. Good afternoon. On June 6th, I'll correct what happened to you on June 6, 2015.
Okay.
On June 6th, you went to a baseball game, correct?
Yes, with my friends.
And after the game, you attempted to get some ice cream.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yes.
You chose Scooters to get ice cream.
Yeah,
correct?
we went to Scooters.
You arrived at Scooters around 8 p.m.
It was 8. Yes.
And while you were at Scooters, you got some ice cream.
I did.
After you finished your ice cream, you stayed at Scooters, correct?
My friends and I were still playing chasing, so yeah, we did.
At some point, you were asked to leave Scooters.
Yeah, when the store closed, we were asked to go to the parking lot.
You were asked to leave because the store was closing, correct?
Yes, to the parking lot.
This was at 10 p.m.
Yes.
Is that right? I'll just talk to you about where you went when you were asked to leave Scooters.
Okay.
At 10 p.m., you said you were told to go to the parking lot.
Yes.
correct?
Your Honor, permission to reposition myself?
Yes, just avoid contact with the jury.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is simply a diagram of what's already been into evidence as exhibit number 2.
So it's a precise enlargement.
That's correct. Ms. Daly, so after you were in Scooters, at 10 p.m. you were asked to leave and you went to the parking lot, correct? While you were standing in the parking lot, you could see there were some cameras pointing to the parking lot, correct?
Yes, there were two.
Two cameras right here. And there was also some lighting in Scooters, correct?
Mhm.
There were 6 lights in the parking lot. You can see them right here marked with these L's,
Yes,
correct?
I remember 6 bucks.
Now, when you were standing in the parking lot, you were still playing this chasing game.
Yeah, with a few people actually. My friends were there too.
At some point after you're playing chasing in the parking lot, you're told to leave the parking lot, correct?
Yeah, someone came out and asked us to go up onto the sidewalk.
So you left the parking lot right here and you went to the sidewalk.
Where we were asked to go, yes.
Okay. And this is all the sidewalk, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could have said right here, is that right?
Yeah, we just went where we were asked to go. She said sidewalk.
Okay, so sidewalk could have said right here as well, this is also the sidewalk?
Correct.
Okay. But you said right here, correct?
Yes.
Where this X is marked?
That's where I was standing. That's correct.
Okay, and you marked this X yourself?
I did.
Okay. And where you were standing where this X is marked, you said the lighting wasn't that great, correct?
The lights from the parking lot were definitely spilling over to where I was standing.
You said the lights where you were standing were not working, correct? The sidewalk lights.
I believe so. The street lights.
You're saying the street lights were working?
They were
where
not
you
on.
standing?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to be unclear.
Okay. So where you were standing where this X is marked, the street lights were not working.
Correct.
You were still playing the game here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, these street lights that were not working on the sidewalk, those belong to the town of Steelton, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of personal knowledge.
She can answer if she knows.
I don't know.
You didn't decide to sue the town of Steelton.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Why is it relevant?
Your Honor, I'd like to testify this witness.
Assuming we're outside the presence of the
Yes,
jury.
sorry. Assuming it's the jury. I'd like to testify this witness. She could have sued the town of Steelton for their sidewalk lights.
How is that relevant to the matter before the jury?
It is relevant today because if those sidewalk lights were not working that night, the town of Steelton can also very well be a party here today. And it's relevant because
Well, you would have brought them in, right? Wouldn't you have? Before trial, if that was an issue?
correct, Your Honor. I think what I'm trying to get at here is that the witness might not have been as diligent in deciding who to bring to court on this matter.
That may be true, but why is it relevant?
It's relevant today because if those lights were not working on that sidewalk, they should very well have been party to this litigation today.
You had up until today to present that issue to the court and bring them in as a third party. You did not do that.
Well, Your Honor, I think what I'm trying to listen from the witness in this testimony is simply that she could have taken that action and sued.
Right, so in order for us to overcome the very low bar of relevance, the question and answer has to make a material fact just a little more likely or unlikely. What material fact is made more or less likely by this question?
Your Honor, I believe this question makes it less likely that Scooters is liable for what happens in Clinton.
How so?
If the sidewalk lights, which may possibly belong to the town of Steelton, do belong to the town of Steelton, then that takes away our
I let you have the question of the sidewalk lights weren't on. The question as to whether or not she has filed civil suit against the town doesn't seem to move the ball here very far.
so I guess my argument would just be that it takes away from Scooter's liability in this matter.
In which case you can have the operability of the light, but not the lawsuit question. The objection is sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you were standing on the sidewalk, and where you were standing on the sidewalk, this is not a sidewalk in your neighborhood.
I don't live in Scooters, so no,
This is not a sidewalk in your home, Ms. Bailey.
not particularly.
And with the lights not working, we're playing the chasing game here.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yes.
We just heard testimony, assuming we're outside the presence of the jury, that this witness did not know whether the lights were working, and counsel just said that the lights were not working, which means that here, counsel is testifying to facts not in the record.
Well, she has proposed a fact to which the witness can say yes or no, or provide a responsive answer. And I think that's within purview she has as a cross-examiner, so I will overrule the objection.
Ms. Daly, where you were standing where you suspected the lights were not working,
Correct.
you were still playing the game at this point?
My friends and I were, yes.
At this point, it was 10:45 p.m. when you were standing
It was around there, yeah.
right here.
Mhm.
Now, at some point, you heard a comment made to you by your friend, correct?
Yes.
And your friend indicated to you that people were approaching, is that right?
Yes, like I said, thought that they were just coming up by Jason.
And but your friend Rudy, who introduced to you, did not believe they were trying to play a game, correct?
I can just tell you what I believed or what I thought at the time. We had been with a crowd of people all evening playing Jason, so it made sense to me that anyone coming to that particular location would also be playing.
See, I asked you if your friend Rudy indicated to you, not what he thought, he indicated to you, did he not, that he believed those people were not coming?
I believe he may have thought that, but like I said, what I thought was something else.
And Ms. Daly, you also heard after your friend warned you, another comment made, correct?
I did.
And you heard a comment made from your assailant, is that right?
I don't know who it was made by.
You heard a comment that said to you, told you we could find these video game nerds here, easy pickings, is that right?
Yes.
And you're playing your game at this point?
It all happened very fast. I don't know exactly what I was doing at that moment.
And so you can't tell us today what your assailant looked like?
No, there was no time to look at it.
You can't tell us if your assailant had dark hair?
Like I said, there was no time. As soon as I heard that voice, I was instantly in my head.
You can't tell us if your assailant had brown eyes, for example?
I'm sorry, no. Like I said, I was hit in the head right away. I had no chance to see.
You can't tell us any of these features because you're looking at your phone, is that right?
No, the game doesn't require you to look at your phone the whole time. I may have been, playing at that point, but I can't say for certain. I was looking at my phone. I just, as soon as I heard a voice, was hit in the head right away. I had no time to react.
What's your question, Your Honor?
Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
That must be you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Yes, my name is Tracy Simon, S-I-M-O-N, but everybody calls me Scooter.
Scooter, a nickname?
Scooter's my lifetime nickname, yes.
How did you get that nickname?
So when I was a small child, and everybody's coming, most kids start crawling, I scooted across the floor like on my butt.
Is
My
that how
mom.
you
No, I'm
named
sorry.
your business?
Yeah, that's exactly how I named my business, Scooter's Ice Cream.
I'd like to talk to you more about your relationship to Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor.
Okay.
What is your relationship to Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor?
I'm the founder and owner,
Where is Scooter's located?
right here in the heart of Steelton.
When did you open up Scooter's?
A little over 5 years ago.
Why open up an ice cream parlor?
At the time, there was no ice cream parlor in that part of town, and I saw a market and somebody who wanted to kind of jump into business and start something new. I jumped on it.
Do you have any other businesses, Mr. Simon?
No, owning this ice cream parlor is my sole, only business venture at this point in my life.
Okay. I'd like to now talk to you about what measures you've taken for security
Okay.
for your business.
Yeah.
Can you tell the jury briefly what measures, if any, you've taken for security of your business?
Yes, so I installed 6 sets of lights in my parking lot. I've implemented cameras on the inside and outside of the building, and I also will call the service company to come in and fix any problems I have with those things.
You've mentioned you've installed lights and cameras, and you take the proper measures. Do you have any employees, Mr. Simon?
Yeah, I have employees.
Do you train these employees?
I do, yes, I have to. Sometimes they close the place down, and I instruct them as to really basic stuff that you would, think of. Clean up, lock up, tell everybody to leave, those kind of things.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Simon, I'm approaching you with what's already been into evidence as Exhibit 2. This is the ad that you had in your ice cream parlor on June 6, 2015.
Okay.
Mr. Simon, where on this ad does it say the closing time of Scooters?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
What answer is suggested by the question?
Your Honor, assuming we're outside the presence of the jury, if allowed to testify, I anticipate this witness is going to tell us that there are no store hours on this diagram. So the question, can you tell us where this document says there are store hours, is indicating that there should be store hours on here.
That may be true, but it certainly doesn't lead to an answer overruled.
Mr. Simon, can you tell us where on this document does it say your store hours?
I didn't put it on this advertisement.
Okay. Now, Mr. Simon, what time does your store close?
10 p.m.
Okay. Now, how would someone in your business know the store is closing at 10 p.m. if it's not on the ad?
As I said, I tell my employees to go tell people verbally, it's time to go. We leave.
Wish to approach the witness, Your Honor, and retrieve the document.
That's fine.
Mr. Simon?
Yeah.
Mr. Simon, you just spoke about how you train your employees. You also mentioned earlier certain measures you've taken.
Yeah.
You mentioned cameras and lights. I'd like to talk to you more thoroughly about these measures you've taken. Your Honor, at this time I would like to make use of precise enlargement of Exhibit 3, it's already mentioned, evidence.
Okay. Oh, this is the diagram.
Correct.
Yeah.
Your Honor, permission to reposition myself?
You can move anywhere except in contact with the jury.
Your Honor, at this time I ask the witness to step down to make his demonstrative.
Certainly, yeah.
You can step down, Mr. Simon. And you mentioned cameras, Mr. Simon. Where are these cameras installed on your property?
So we have cameras on the inside, and then we have them affixed to the wall here on the outside. There's two of them, one here and one here, where the C's are.
Why did you install these cameras?
Just a matter of customer safety. See the parking lot, and these cameras also serve as a deterrent effect.
Can you explain for us what a deterrent effect means?
Yeah, so my understanding of it, and why I have these implemented, is so when people, criminals, potential assailants, they see cameras pointed at them, they're less likely to break the law.
That makes sense. And you also said you installed some lighting.
Yeah.
Can you show us where you installed this lighting on your property?
Sure. So these L's right here represent 6 sets of ambient light posts. These light up the whole parking lot and other places.
What is the purpose of installing these lights, Mr. Simon?
To act as another deterrent effect and to just go toward that customer safety I was talking about, a well-lit parking lot, so people leave and see where they're walking, etc.
That makes sense. You can stand, Mr. Simon.
Okay.
I'd like to now talk to you about June 6, 2015.
Okay.
The plaintiff mentioned she was playing this game called Chase 'Em on your property
Yeah.
on June 6. Are you aware of this game, Mr. Simon?
Yes, I am aware of the game.
Can you speak to the jury your understanding of what this game entails?
Yeah, sure. So Chase 'Em is a mobile phone app, and it's a game that you play using like your GPS and the camera on your phone to move to real life locations to catch these monsters. If you think of it as like baseball cards, but on your cell phone, walking around catching these big monsters.
Okay, so there are certain places where you can catch these rare monsters.
Right.
Can you elaborate some more on that?
So these places that some of the rarer monsters can be caught are called chase places.
Was Scooters, if at all, associated with this game?
Somewhat.
Can you explain to the jury what you mean by somewhat?
Yeah, so the creators of the game designate certain locations all over the place, all over Steelton, that become chase places. They decide randomly, and it just so happened that my property was chosen as a chase place by the game. So my place was a chase place, but it wasn't anything that I did.
Okay. Now, Now, on June 6, 2015, were you at Scooters that night?
No, I was not.
Okay. Was anyone working at Scooters that night?
Yeah, I had my employee, Christy Fulton.
Okay. And you trained this employee yourself, Mr. Simon?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can explain how you trained your employee?
Yes. So I would just tell them to, shut the place down, tell everybody to leave, put everything away, clean up, those kind of things.
Okay. Can your employees do anything else further than just telling people to leave Scooters at closing time?
No, they cannot.
Why is that, Mr. Simon?
Anything beyond commands to leave would be, if they were to put their hands on it, that would be assault.
Okay. Now, on June 6, 2015, your Scooters was a Chase place, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you have any power over turning off Scooters at the Chase place?
No, I did not. The game controls that, as I said.
And you've mentioned you've installed cameras, you've installed lighting, you've trained your employees. Why have you picked these measures for Scooters Ice Cream Parlor?
Well, these are the measures that I felt were appropriate to ensure customer safety at my ice cream parlor, and are the ones that, frankly, I could afford as a small business owner and still to sell ice cream.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.